What's happening, folks? It is Tuesday night. I'm a little rusty here. I'm trying to figure out how to share this stuff out again. I haven't done a show in a couple weeks. Been kind of taking a siesta, working on projects, getting Cat and Piggy Girl lined out, and all that good stuff. So it's kind of good to be back and doing a show. We're gonna be chatting with Daniel Garcia tonight about Xyber Ronin. Pretty excited about that. It's a pretty cool looking book. Let me share this out one more time here, and we will get this shindig started. Ah. I'm so rusty at this. Look at that. 2 weeks gone. Just fire me. Can't even do things right. All right. We're going to get started with the sponsors tonight. The sponsors are Codex Entertainment LLC with Luis Torres. Please check out Whispers in Necropolis, Lily the Demoness, Ace and Starlet, Nebula Pearl, and VRXOXO, which are some great products that are available from Codex Entertainment LLC. If you don't know about any of these, you can hit up Luis Torres, and he will hook you up with what you need to get. We've got 183 Degree Studio with Alfred Trujillo, Doobie Doobie Doo, MSAZ Power Girl, Kara Nicole. Check out their Patreons as well as 183degreestudio.com where you can get all kinds of awesome art prints, original art, and stuff like that. We got Doris Jones Labor of Love. Check out DorisJonesLaborofLove.com. What's going on, Ben? We got DorisJonesLaborofLove.com. You can get all kinds of acrylic paintings and all kinds of cool paintings from her, as well as custom paintings. Just hit up that website. All these links are available in the description above. We got Naughty Fairies with Miss Wendy Steen Shaner. If you don't know about Naughty Fairies, go check out that Etsy link. Get caught up on all the great books and the great story available from her. This spring/summer, you'll be able to check out the book Luna Tales, which has what's going on. And check out Luna Tales, which has a story written by me, as well as a lot of other creators. Some really cool stuff going on in there. So I'm so excited for Luna Tales. It's going to be a great children's book. So I'm happy and excited that that'll be coming out soon. We got Hazzum Productions with Rodney Ficus. And check out Roadkill Rampage, Peanut Pudding and Jelly, and Pitter Patter. Some of the greatest books from Hazzum. They just published Roadkill Rampage 2, and we'll be probably hitting Roadkill Rampage 3 here sometime soon, so get caught up on those books. And we've got Melone Management. Hit up Lisa Malone. If you have any type of crowdfunding project, whether it's an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter, please hit up Lisa Malone. She'll give you a free 1 hour consultation, let you know what her services are that she has available, and she will hook you up. We got Outpost 426 Studios with CB Zane and Michael Shoemaker. Check out Into the Suck and Scorpiana, as well as Black Rabbit, which blew up Kickstarter 56,000, and it was like 1,031 backers. How ridiculous is that? But it's a great book. I'm excited for it. Can't wait to see it. And last but not least, our sponsor for tonight is Rust Explode Studios charity auctions for CB4K. This is an important thing that I run where you can get all kinds of cool stuff from the auction page. 100% of the proceeds goes to help kids in cancer centers and hospitals nationwide. And this is a great service because what they do is they send comic books, coloring books, pens and Spencers, pop figurines, and all kinds of great stuff to these hospitals and cancer centers to help these kids find hope and strength in a time of need. Especially with COVID, a lot of these places the parents can't be there. So imagine a 7-year-old kid going through chemo, their parents aren't there. These items can bring great hope and great inspiration to these kids and help get them through these hard times, which is what Cat and Piggy Girl is going to be all about. And that'll be launching next week. So look forward to that. And without further ado, we're going to bring out our guest tonight. We've got Daniel Garcia. What's going on, man?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, not too bad. I'm a little rusty there. I'm like,
No, you're good, man. I'm glad you're feeling better, by the way. So it's good.
I'm getting there. So, I'm excited to be back in the saddle again. I miss getting on here and chatting with people and talking about their projects and all that good stuff.
No, I appreciate you
Um,
putting me on, man. Thank you.
yeah, no problem. So, what I like to do on the show here is we like to get on here and, the biggest question I ask, what got you into comics? What was your comic of choice? What did you read for the first time? You're like, man, this is my jam.
Yeah. So growing up in Miami in some pretty rough neighborhoods when I was a kid, there was a what we call them bodegas, right? And what they are is they're like little shops where like the neighborhood goes to buy their food and buy whatever they may need for their home. And there was a spinner rack inside that store. And I remember walking by, I can't tell you how old I was. I must have been like 7 or 8 or something, maybe a little older. And I'd walk by the spinner rack where all the comics were. And I grew up with a Latino family, so my mom was kind of mean when I was growing up, So
She throw her shoes at you.
she'd throw shoes at me. I couldn't just stop. She'd like pull me everywhere I was going, and I walked by this spinner rack, and I see it was Contest of Champions, and I can't tell you, 1980 something, And I walked by that, and I was like, oh, look at all these pretty colors on this comic book, right? But I couldn't get a hold of it. And then I'd walk by again like the next week, and it was Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that looks awesome. And then at the same time, around that time, it was like I think Wolverine was the Frank Miller Wolverine. Anyway, so one day I finally grabbed one off the spinner rack, and it's an 80s Marvel comic, and I'm reading it, and we walk out of the store, and I'm still thumbing through it. My mom looks down at me, and I hadn't paid for it, right? So as you can imagine,
So you caught a flip flop upside the head, and she's like,
man, it was bad, yeah.
Daniel, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, smacking you right back in the store. You go back in and pay for that.
Pay for it, and then tell the manager what I did. So I had to tell the owner what I did at the same time. So I was like, okay, there's got to be something cool, and something must be, there's got to be something to this. Like I think my creative side came out, and I was always about like playing with the toys and stuff, and creating scenarios, and that was my first encounter with comics. And then eventually I discovered comic stores, and this is back in the 80s when comic stores were taboo. Like no one really went into a comic store, unless you were.
Oh yeah, you don't want to be labeled as that nerd that got beat up in high school.
No, and that's yeah. So I grew up in a rough neighborhood, went to a rough school, and and so you had to learn how to defend yourself too. So I started learning I learned martial arts at a really young age, and then I read comics, and I guess both of them kind of gelled for me, and then like in the later 80s, the Turtles came out, and and then I was like, oh, Turtles that do martial arts? What, are you kidding me? So, and then Wolverine and Spider-Man and all that stuff would it was just inspirational for me, as a kid, and also not having a lot of money. So like we lived in some bad neighborhoods. Couldn't really go outside, because things were so bad, and my parents were working like 4 jobs, each of them, just to make the ends meet, So
no, I get it.
Yeah, my entertainment was comics, So me and my brother would, we'd read comics, and then that was our thing. And whenever you can go out and find a spinner rack with some comics out of it, you'd buy them, and that was your entertainment. And then when I got older, I have 2 daughters. They're both a lot older now, but I introduced comics to them. And one of them actually draws comics now, so she draws her own books and stuff, and she's taken to it, and she really likes it. So it's neat to be able to share that with them.
That is awesome. So
Thanks.
so at what point did you decide, hey, I'm gonna try writing some of my own stories?
Yeah, I think as a kid, again, writing stories has always been a thing for me, where it's been like an escape, where you're like in your own little world. You create something for yourself, and you try to emulate like different, as a kid, right? You try to emulate different heroes that you have, and you write your stories, and then eventually you find that those stories could be illustrated. You find someone that could draw,
Yeah, because as writers, we can't draw. We can draw lovely sentences.
The little or a little house with a little smoke coming out of the top of the chimney.
Yeah. Stick figures. I'm the stick figure champion. So yes. You want to hit me up anytime, we can duke it out.
I'll message you later. But yeah, and then I guess that the older I got, and as well as I do, like the market has changed, where 80s and 90s making your own comic, especially in the 80s, was like printing costs were ridiculous, or finding anybody that even do a comic was rough. Now, getting into the 90s, it started to become a thing where it's like a trend. Now you're making your own. Independence blew up in the 90s, and then now in the 2000s, especially the later 2000s, there's just tons of artists out there that are new to the field. And one thing, you were talking about paying it back earlier, and this is something that I will always say, this is, I believe in paying it back. Paying it forward, helping people out, and then, finding artists that may be hungry, that are just learning how to draw comics, and kind of bringing them on these projects and having them, work with you. on getting this stuff done. So
Sorry, my cats are destroying the studio behind me, so I
don't worry,
apologize.
man.
I'm still listening, I promise. I don't want you to feel like I don't want you to think I'm being rude, but my cat literally just got in the trash can.
You're good. I thought I bored you. I was like, oh, should we start over again? Okay, no.
No, I have one in the trash can, and the other two are supervising what I guess they're standing guard, because there's wet canned food containers that of course have been emptied in a plastic bag in the trash can. They seem to think that they're going to get the scraps out of there. They're becoming their own superhero team. Where they're the trash pandas.
You're good, brother. Don't worry. Don't worry. I had to put mine away, or else she'd be crawling all over us right now. So
Oh, I get it. Yeah, that's how Savannah is. I'll be on stream and she'll jump up and then she shows off her butthole every time. I'm like, really? Nobody wants to see that. I just go.
Yeah, you might have some people that want to see it, but yeah.
You never know. Hey, it is the year 2022.
It is 2022. So
yeah, no, going back to what you said, 2020 was the revolution of the indies. I mean, you have the big two, they shut down. They really weren't putting things out, and people are like, oh, Kickstarter exists. Oh, wow, what are all these indie books? And so it opened up a whole bunch of people to this world that's been there all along, and it just, blew up. So it made it a lot easier for independents to be able to get on here and say, hey, here's our project, and to find people that connect to you. And, sorry, I'm still having brain farts from everything last week. So they have things in common. There we go. They have, shows or, characters that they have in common with you. They're like, oh man, I want to check out this book. I want to see this guy's twist on the X-Men, or I want to see this guy's twist, or, oh man, I love gargoyles when they were growing up. That's one of the big things. Oh my God. Like every time I have somebody on that mentions gargoyles, all the girls in the crowd go crazy. Oh my gosh, gargoyles!
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I catch my girl watching gargoyles in the morning all the time when she's getting ready for work at like 6 a.m. And she stopped watching. And I'll be 50. She's like 45, so she's still watching gargoyles. She loves that show.
Oh man, it's a great show. Well, will you go get her out of the trash can before? Hold on, I gotta get the dart gun out and then take this cat out.
The trank gun. Don't worry, you're good.
The trank gun. Dude, you're crazy. I like you. Out later, the cat's gonna be like, oh my God. So what kind of shows did you enjoy growing up? We talked about gargoyles already. Obviously, of course, I had to bring that up. So, what else were you into?
So, I'm a late 70s. I'm a late 70s, early 80s kid. So for me, it was everything to do with Transformers, G.I. Joe, Amazing Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. The old original Justice League, or what it was called back in those days, Superpowers or Justice Friends, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Wonder Twins.
The Wonder Twins.
Activate.
Oh, dude, it was great. I remember getting up at Saturday mornings, and again, this is like an escape, right? Because this is a thing that you like because you can't really go outside too often, and as the family started to move into different homes, we started, living in better neighborhoods eventually. And
you're like, there's things you can do outside now.
I ride my bike and
there's a whole new world out here, guys. There's this backboard with the hoop that you can throw balls at.
Totally, dude. Totally.
So, hey, I get it, and it's crazy. I was the exact opposite. We lived in like some rural town out in the middle of nowhere. And we lived in DeSoto, Missouri, is where I grew up until I was in like third grade, I think. But it was insane to think when I was my kid's age, I was down at the park like 3 blocks up the road playing by myself, going down a slide, not a care in the world with my older brother. And now I'm like, my kid's 7. I'm like, you don't leave my sight ever.
What do you mean you want to go outside? Yeah.
What do you mean you want to go outside? Hold on, let me insert this tracking chip into your neck.
This leash on you, yeah. For me, that ended up happening where the older we got, like I said, we lived in some better neighborhoods, and then it was like outside, and you're playing GI Joe, and you're like miles away from home, till dusk till dawn. Your mom comes out, looks for you, but for me, it was
before the advent of cell phones, you just You're like, oh, the sun looks a little low in the sky. I hope I can make it home before it
The
gets
street
dark.
lights, when the street lights came on, you're inside the house or you're in trouble. Yeah, the street lights come on and they're out looking for you. Hey, come home, But
Yeah, you come home
Saturday,
after the street lights. They upgrades from flip flop to high heels.
the belt, get the belt, man. Forget that. Where are you? Okay, so Saturday mornings, my favorite show at like 8 a.m. I was up at 6 waiting for the show to come on. Was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and it had the X-Men appear on it and Captain America appear. I think Namor was on it at one time. But I get that big bowl of like colorful cereal, right? And
Yeah.
it's like full of sugar, and you just eat that bowl of cereal and just kind of watch cartoons all morning long, and then that's it, man. You're all jacked the rest of the day.
I loved it when my dad had to get up early for work and my mom was already gone because my mom worked as a lunch lady at one of the schools,
Cool.
part time. She worked in the mornings to help out with breakfast. So she would leave. So my dad would leave for work. He would get up and it would be like 5:30 in the morning. And I'm like, I'm in fifth grade and I'm just like, oh my God, it's not even light outside. And then I discovered that's when the good cartoons are on. Because I
Yeah,
get on, it'd be
yeah.
like Mutant League Sports Network, and I'm like, what is this? I mean, that is still to this day one of my favorite
Awesome.
cartoons ever is
Yeah,
Mutant League Sports Network. And when they came out with the Sega Genesis game, I was like, I have got to get this. And I just, it was just so funny, them throwing explosive footballs and just blowing the players apart. And you can see this guy running down the court with his holding his arm and just beating one of the other guys with it. And I'm like, man, I discovered a whole new world of cartoons. I was
you
like,
can't make
I
that
didn't
stuff
even know.
up, dude. Yeah, Bionic Six. Remember Bionic Six? Did you ever
Yeah,
see that? I mean, like those cartoons, like and like you were saying, Gargoyles, Darkwing Duck, like all that great stuff.
yeah,
Like
bonkers.
the Gummy Bears, like and
Oh my
that's
God, yeah, the
and
gummy bears.
you look for that stuff now, and I'm like, oh, this stuff is great. Like I could watch this all day. It's still
Yeah,
watch.
I actually recently acquired one of my favorites, Chippendale Rescue Rangers. I got the
Yes,
full Blu-ray series.
that's great. Yeah, it's awesome, man.
I tried to get my kids to watch, and they're like, "Dad, this is garbage." I'm
Like
like, "It
what
is not
watched it?
garbage, just
Yeah,
because it looks horrendous on a big screen because they tried to format it for like a flat screen TV, and
yeah,
it hasn't aged well. But you know what? It's the content, folks. It's the
yeah.
content
The
that makes it.
content, the content.
The
Yeah,
visual effects, they just ignore them. This is pre-CG, where we had the great cinematography.
people actually had to draw everything instead of like the storyboards, and like if you go to like Disney, if you go to Disney, you see like all the old storyboards. There's like a museum of them, and I'm like, oh, this is so neat. Like how they used to make. Okay, but check this out. All right, so the cartoons, and then if you owned a Sega or a Nintendo, then you go to the store for whatever reason, and there's the video game for that cartoon. Now you're like,
Yep.
what am I looking at right now? It's like video game for that. Earthworm Jim was huge. That was
Earthworm Jim, we think he's mighty fine. Oh my gosh, it was such a. Oh, you got sent home, Jack. That sucks, dude. Well, hey, that's good. You can come here and chill with Daniel and I. So this is my buddy Jack. I actually turned him towards your Kickstarter. I was like, hey, dude, you got to go
okay.
back
Thank you,
Daniel's
brother.
Kickstarter. It looks
Appreciate
badass. Yeah, it's too windy. Well, shut your mouth, boy. No, I'm just kidding.
it.
But yeah, man, dude, Earthworm Jim was the bomb. And then you get some of these other games. They were like, they just started capitalizing. They're like, what can we make? And then like it was to be the worst game you've ever bought in your entire life. You would save up your allowance for like a month, and you go in and buy it, and you're like, what kind of hot garbage is
What
this?
is this? I got my brother
What is
Spawn.
this?
I bought him
Yeah, they
Spawn.
just had like one. They had one game format, and they just put labels on it. Like, oh, it was easy back then because you just had these little
Crank it
2D
out, man.
palettes. Yeah, you just swap out the pixels. Like, oh no, this isn't Earthworm Jim anymore. This
Yeah.
is
Look at
this
mine
is
from Mars. Yeah.
bonkers.
Yeah, bonkers, whatever. Yeah. I bought my brother Spawn, the first video game that came out. I think it was for the 64. I think the N64. Man,
Yeah,
I'm so excited. I'm like, oh, Spawn, are you kidding me? Like my brother's gonna love this. And I gave it to him. He played it for a couple of days, and he called me. He's like, hey man, you can't buy me presents anymore for my birthday. I'll tell you what I want. Don't buy me.
this game was terrible.
You returned this? It's like you're such
Well,
a jerk.
and you know what? To be honest, I don't mean to derail. This happens on the show all the time, by the way. So I don't mean to derail here, but you know what? Honestly, games haven't gotten any better. Before you bought them, you got home and you were disappointed because the gameplay sucked. Well, now you can watch people play the game before you buy it. And you're like, hey, this looks
Yeah,
pretty badass.
yeah.
You go and you buy it, and then you get home with it, and there's 83 fucking updates the second day the game's been out. You've got to wait 3 hours for it to download. Now I'm disappointed because I can't even play the game when I get home, people. Stop selling the game undone. Stop making the discs undone and patching them later on when they're in the warehouses, people. Let
Yeah.
me play the freaking game.
I
Sorry, I
bought
had to
a
say that.
I bought a PS4 for my daughters. This is years ago, and
Yeah.
I saw Fist of the North Star, and I was like, oh, what? This is amazing! Like that was one of my favorite cartoons as a kid, and I bought it. Great game, but man, I'll be 50 this year. Like for me, games they don't hold the same as they used to. Like I played it for like an hour, and then I was like, oh, okay, I'm bored now. I don't want to play it anymore. And it's like a great game, but like I can't play it. I'm like, all right,
Well, see, I got young kids, and my son is so into like I used to play Pokemon Go. So when I grew up in school, when I was in, I want to say I was in, oh man, that's been forever ago. I think I was in 8th or 9th grade when Pokemon came out. So I got real big into Pokemon. And so when Pokemon Go came out for the phone, I was like, ooh, I can take Pokemon with me and catch them in the world.
Yeah.
And then like about, I don't know, 2016, I was like, this is so boring. And so I quit playing it. Well, now that my son's growing up, like now all of a sudden he's got this huge affinity for Pokemon. He's like, oh my God,
that's
Pokemon.
good, man.
And so I was like, oh, check this out. There's a Pokemon Go game. So guess who plays Pokemon Go again? Me. So I just recently finally got a new phone. And here you go, Jack. I forgot to take a picture, but there's my beautiful OtterBox that I was telling you about earlier. I love the color of it. But anyway, so I got a new phone. I was like, you know what? I won't trade my old phone because we're having issues with the kids being good at school. And so I was like, you know what? I'll make a deal with you. I won't trade in my phone. I'll keep it. I'll buy the new phone. And then if you're good, then you get to play Pokemon Go on this phone. And I'll let you tether to my internet.
Cool.
So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We haven't done good so far this week. We've got 2 days. So he's got one more day before spring break.
Well, I hope he makes it, man. I hope
he makes it too, man, because he don't get a sticker tomorrow. He's going to be grounded all of spring break. He's going to be super disappointed. There's going to be a whole lots of Pokemon he's going to miss out on.
Yeah, summer's right around the corner too.
But
Spring
well, it's insane. The stuff that we were into when we were kids, and then your kids started growing up. I got a 5 and a 7-year-old, and so like they get into stuff that I was into, and I'm like, the newest thing is Beyblades, and like so Roderick thinks that I'm just absolutely dumb when it comes to Beyblades. He's like, oh, Dad, you don't know how this is. I was like, listen, son.
Yeah, I got this.
Listen, son. These came out when I was a kid. I played with these before you were even thought of. So don't even try to school me. Don't make me bust out my old school Beyblades. Your new ones don't even stand a chance. I will destroy you.
You should go on Amazon and buy like the best ones.
Yes, just go on Amazon and get like these massive ones and be like, let's go, boy.
Let's go that one. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was watching Beyblade on TikTok yesterday, and he comes by because I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Now that he's in a Beyblade, I was like, I wonder if people still play this. Like, there was like 6,000 people watching these two guys just like put Beyblades into a ring.
Really?
And he's like, hey, yeah, there was like 6,000 people watching it. And he walks by, and I was like, he's like, Dad, why are you watching Beyblade? I'm like, because I can do what I want. I'm an adult. He's like, well, can I watch too? I'm like, hell yeah, get over here, son. Come on, watch some Beyblade. Oh, man. But yeah, there's so much nostalgia. I wish they bring Pogs back. That was my big thing, too. When I was a kid.
Yeah, I remember Pogs. Yeah, I remember that.
Pogs were awesome. I will never forget going to Silver Dollar City. And, here I am. Nobody in my school played Pogs, but I collected them. I had like elite few people that played Pogs. We played Pogs together. So we went to Silver Dollar City on vacation in Branson, Missouri. And with my mom and dad, I would think I was like 13, and we show up there, and right at the gate they're like, Pog tournament. I'm like, oh, no way, son. I was like, Mom, Dad, I gotta enter this. They're like enter what? They're like, oh, them stupid Pog things you collect. They're like, whatever, we'll come back and get you later. So I was up there, dude. I won like first place. I came home with like this giant Pog set. I was like, yeah, who's stupid Pogs now? Look at this. I'm finally good at something besides video
That's
games.
awesome, dude. That's good. I love it. I love it, man. I remember going to to a garage sales, right? With my mom. Like we'd stop at all the garage sales in the neighborhood, and there was a guy selling, talk about nostalgia. I'll never forget this, man. There was a guy selling a Messenger Z. Remember, keep in mind, this is the 80s, okay? This is like early 80s. A Messenger Z, the like 17-inch one, like the big plastic ones that came out like in the 70s. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Buys it for me. Years go by, I don't know what to do with it. I lose it, whatever, Now you go to a comic shop, that same Messenger Z is like $600.
Yep.
I'm like, what? I'm like, I should have, the Millennium Falcon. I had all that stuff, all those.
Yeah. Or like the Ninja Turtle van that shot the pizzas out the top of it that would actually go through drywall because it was that powerful. Yeah. Those toys that we just destroyed, we blew up with firecrackers.
Right,
we drop kicked across the yard because we're like, Shredder just launched them in their van with one of his massive
neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah, the dog carries it off and he like pees on it. And you're like, yes, screw them turtles. I'm Shredder today.
Yeah, man, yeah.
And then now you're on eBay and you're scrolling through, looking at the shit that you like, trying to buy some stuff. And you're like, oh, cool. There's that turtle van I have. What? $1,700. There was only like 500 of those made. What did I do? You're like, wait a minute, where did I live again at that point? Maybe if I go dig up, I can find the Jesus and glue it back.
I can't tell you how many Luke Skywalkers and Princess Leia's are lost in the sand. Playing in the sand, and the shore walks. I'm like, no. Now that same stuff is worth like hundreds of dollars now.
Somebody's on the shore right now. They're like walking around. They're like, wait, is that Luke Skywalker? Yeah, and it's got like DG initialed on the foot. They're like, who's DG? Is this from Dollar General?
my mom would take our toys when I was a kid. My brother and I would share. We wouldn't really share, but I had my toys. He had his, And when we over a toy, again in very typical Latina fashion, she'd snatch whatever it was we were playing with, go outside, and throw it on the roof of the house. Right?
What?
Yeah. Wait, it gets better. It gets better. And she'd go, "You're gonna fight over this? Then none of you can have it." And this happened weekly. Okay, so you're like, "Oh man," and then like you're all pissed off and. Years went by and they were getting older. I went to go help them with their roof. I mean, I'm talking, this is like 15, 20 years later. Okay. They were like, the house is falling apart. I'm helping them fix some stuff on the roof. I get up there on the ladder and I shit you not. It was a sea of toys, bro. There was a sea of
what was the gutter full to the top of like He-Man's? G.I. Joes.
They're all sun washed. All of them.
They're all bleached. You had a new game. You get your brother and you just toss one down. Hey, which character is this? You can't even tell.
Dude, I grab it and I'd be like, what? Oh shit! Look what I found! Look what it's He-Man from like the 70s or the 80s or whatever. He's like, oh, I remember that toy. Yeah, that's when you pissed mom off and she threw it on the roof.
Yeah. Was there any flip flops up there too, or
there's switches, flip flops, you name it, man. It was.
So I want to switch gears for a little bit, and let's talk about Xyber Ronin. How did you come up with the idea for that? And am I pronouncing it correctly?
Xyber Ronin. Yeah, I didn't want to spell it the conventional way with the C. I wanted to go with the X. I wanted to make it, kind of different.
Hey man, don't be hating on the X's. I mean,
there you go. Okay, cool.
Yeah, man, you gotta be different.
You feel it.
Feel it.
It was, like I've been thinking of a character for quite some time about like Turtles, being a Turtles fan and being a Bucky O'Hare fan and being I've always had an affinity for cyborgs. I don't know. Ask me why. It's kind of weird.
They're awesome.
Could be worse. It could be
come
worse.
On, bro. I gotta ask you. Have you ever seen Robot Jocks?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. That favorite movie ever. Like I rented it so many times that the movie store gave it to my dad. It's like, look, it's never here anyway. He can just have it.
It's yours.
So when you talk about robots and cyborgs and mechs, we're on the same plane here, bro.
Awesome.
Like,
good. I'm glad
I mean, look at him right there. Cybernetic.
Cybernetic. It's right. Okay, cool.
That's right, man.
I'm digging it, man. Yeah. So being a fan of cyborgs and then I'm like, I didn't just want to do, I didn't want to do like, I wanted to make it my own, I guess, put my own twist on it, So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, what would be cool? I'm like, a rabbit would be cool, right? I'm like, all right, let's give it a shot. So I give it to my artist. I always butcher his name, but Maiku Oliveira from Brazil. And I contact him. I'm like, hey, man, can you draw this for me? He's like, yeah. So I pay him for the drawing. He sends it back to me, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, this is pretty cool. I'm like, I think I can do something. This is a lot cooler than what I thought.
Yeah.
And then just like, deriving from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stories and stuff. And like we said, like earlier, like Biker March from Mars stories. And like, I'm like, oh, well, this would be pretty cool to give him like this whole backstory. Make him cybernetic, make him like a warrior, right? Because I love martial arts. I've been in martial arts my whole life. And I'm like, man, it'd be really cool to do like a samurai type of rabbit, not Yojimbo, but like something more futuristic, and then just kind of ran with it. Started writing it out, and as I went through a few drafts, I was like, oh, this sounds good. And we went to pencils, and as the more that my crew drew it, the more that I guess I liked it. And then I'm like, oh, I can see doing this for a couple issues, and then just people started taking note of it. It's just like a labor of love, I guess, for me. It's like a labor of love for me. And then it's reminiscent for me of the old school black and white books, like the Turtles and stuff, and and all that fun stuff when we read like as kids, that were black and white books that had a lot of ninja stuff in it and robots, and just making it fun. I wanted it to be fun for everyone, and that's kind of been my inspiration for it so far, has been that kind of stuff.
All right, so give us your elevator pitch. Let's hear your elevator pitch.
All right, so I wasn't prepared, but okay.
You know what? That's the best time to bring up the elevator pitch. I'm training you for on-the-spot questions.
Sweet, brother. Thank you. So I'm in training. Yeah, so I guess if you're a fan, and I actually, it's easier than I thought, because I write this in all my Facebook posts. But if you're a fan of ninjas, monsters, cyborgs, and martial arts, then this is definitely a book for you. It's got a lot great. The artwork is fantastic. I'm giving a lot of newer artists that are trying to break into the business a break also by helping them get their stuff out there. And I want to give a shout out to a few guys, if you don't mind, but Dana Black being one of them. Dana Black's my buddy. And he's been just fantastic with me. We met on social media, and he's been fantastic. I can go on and on, man. Just so many great guys that have helped me. Kevin Claddy, you got Hassel Hutchinson, and Monster from the Nerdy Man Room. These guys are all just fantastic, dude. Like they believe in the project, and they believe in like the book, and like they're right with me on like the old 80s and 90s, stuff being fun. And yourself included, man. You and I hit it off when we were talking about getting some copies to you, these black and white versions over to you. So
yeah, man, ash cans. Like you said the magic word. I scrolled by and I seen ash can. I was like, how can I get an ash can?
Oh, that's great, dude.
Bro, I'm not kidding. I got 3 short boxes full of ash cans, and I probably have 2 of the BCW graded bins full of graded ash cans, from Vampirella to Spider-Man to the ASM 300 minis, signed and unsigned. Like I freaking love ash cans. Like, I don't know, they're just a cool idea. It's a cool concept. Back in the day, that people would just go around and hand out these little pamphlets and say, here's this idea for this book.
Together,
please carry it in your store.
You staple the center together, you fold it real nice and tight, and you staple it so it's foldable. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, you just gotta talk to my buddy over here. You just hit up Daniel and say, hey man, Russ and I are good friends here.
Yeah.
Don't ask him; he'll call me a fuckface. And I'm just kidding. And you just talk to this man here. He's gonna hook you up, because you know what, man. I'm telling you, ash cans. That's where it's at. Like, that's the nostalgia for me right there.
Russ, let me tell you, man. I mean this when I say this. If I could give my stuff away and just let everybody enjoy it and just give stuff out, I would do it all day, man. If there wasn't a cost,
bro, I get it totally.
If I wasn't a cost associated with it, I wouldn't mind. But listen, when I put a price label, and I was talking to my buddy Kevin from the Zone, that he's in Tifton, Georgia. That's funny.
It's a true story, but not that's not what happened. But go ahead.
he was, we were talking about pricing the book, and I think if I'm not mistaken, to put a book together, a 28-page full color book, runs you around $3 an issue. That's shipping included. And he's like, "How much are you going to sell it for when you finally get it for distribution for yourself?" I'm like, "Man, if I could sell it for what I make it for, I'd be happy." Just because I'm selling it. That plus shipping and handling, just pay me shit. I don't give a crap. But he's like, I think a fair price would be like $4. So you don't make $1 off each book. There's some people that sell their books that, like, I'm not knocking them. They do what they want. But, 15, 20 bucks an issue, $5, $6 an issue. I just can't see doing that. But yeah, that's just me. Maybe I'm selling myself short. But
Hey man, no, I totally get it, man. I always tell Jack all the time, if I win the lottery, I'm just gonna write books and just give them out. Be like, you just go to my website and you just click a button, and like some distribution center somewhere, like the next day a book shows up at your door, and you're like, because here's the thing, what, writing, you said it perfectly earlier. When we watch cartoons, when we read comics, when we read books, it's escapism. When we write as creators, it's escapism. Our escapism becomes someone else's escapism. And so, we can use our escaping from our lives to help other people escape from their lives. And that's what the creation's all about. It's not about making money, being a millionaire, having clout, saying, "Oh, I sold 400 million copies of my comic." It's about the fact of people say, "Man, I enjoyed this." That's what gives you a good feeling, because that for that 20, 30 minutes that person sat down and read that book, they escaped from their lives for a minute. They had fun. They went along for the ride, and they liked it enough to come say something to you about it. Because I'm gonna tell you something right now, people in the audience, people that'll be coming back and watching this later on the replay. We'd like nothing better than to hear your feedback, even if it's just you asking questions, saying, "Hey man, I like this, but what happened to this guy?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm glad you asked," because there's going to be another, tier that breaks off from this, another, what's the word I'm looking for? Arc, nor another story arc that breaks off on that character. And so, it's so much fun. That's what we do this for, is the interaction with you guys. It's not about making money about cloud. It's about the interaction with the community. Because you said it best earlier, it's so great doing what we do because we have people in the community that are willing to help us out and come in and say, "Hey, I want to do a piece for this. I really enjoy what you're doing. Can I do something?" And it's that kind of camaraderie that we have that makes us such a great community. So since you won't shut up about it, so the whole joke is, talking about nostalgia. So, growing up, one of my biggest things was I was really into Alien versus Predator and the Colonial Marines. That was my big thing. Like every time a game came out, I got it. So they have that new game that came out for the PS4, Predator Hunting Grounds. Okay. And so it was a free game of the month. And so Jack's like, "Hey, man, you need to get on there because Predator's free." And I'm like, "Oh, well, yeah, I was thinking about buying it, but since it was online only, I was like, nah." I like doing, I like playing solo, getting out of my head, not having to concentrate, just blow shit up and, whatever. And so I was like, whatever, I'll download it if you're going to get online and play it. So we get on there and we're playing, and I got my mic in, we're playing away, and we're like running along. We're the Colonial Marines, the Predator's hunting us, and I hear this, I'm like, "What the hell was that?" And I look down, and at this time, Ezzy was a kitten. She was maybe, 2, 3 months old, something like that, because we got her when she was like 6 or 7 weeks. She comes running at me from across the living room, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this cat doing?" And she's just hopping and hopping. She jumps onto the edge of the couch at me, all 4 legs out, right over my face. I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? We're playing Aliens right now. You're not a face hugger. Stop that. It's not funny." So as she's covering my face, her paws are wrapped around my head and wrapped around my neck. I get murdered by the Predator. So what kind of crap is this? The aliens are helping the Predators out now? Like, here I am, we're trying to wipe out the Predator, and the freaking facehugger takes me out of my own home.
Were you being recorded? Was anybody watching you on video?
No, nobody was watching, but he was on the other end of the mic, and he's just laughing his ass off. He's like, "Dude, what happened?" I was like, "The cat jumped on my face like a facehugger." He's like, "No freaking way." I was like, "Yeah, she all 4 paws out over the head, over the face." So yeah, apparently my next book's gonna have face hugger cats. True story. It was hilarious. I will never forget that. Thanks,
That's
Sassy. I really appreciate
that's
that.
awesome, man. That's a
You
good story.
asshole.
I like it. Yeah, that's
Like
that's
I could. Cats are the best. I could
yeah.
like in a million years, nothing like that would ever happen again. Only my
No,
cats would think of something
no,
like, "Oh,
dude,
he's
totally.
playing
That's I'm
aliens.
never
I'm a
gonna
face hugger."
never. Yeah, the worst my cat does is interrupt me when I'm on a conference call with work. She'll cross in front of the screen. I'm like, no, you can't do that. So
It's jealousy, man. It's
yeah,
jealousy. They're like,
total
you shouldn't
jealousy.
talk to anybody
They want
else.
all your attention, man. They want all
Yeah,
your
all
attention.
your attention. See, what you don't know is I'm a reincarnated Egyptian god. You will serve me, human. Go get me the canned wet food, or I'm gonna get in the trash can again after I already turned my camera and my mic off and went and got her out. Now she knocked it over, so she can just walk in. She's like, "Huh, I'm not technically in the trash can because I'm dragging the bag out of the trash can."
She's like, is she part
And
back
see, I
here?
didn't even have to look. I knew the sound, and there they all are around the trash can that's knocked over. I knew it.
They're
See?
stalking you, bro. They're like
You're
ninjas.
stalking me. Oh, dude, the one day they knocked this over on top of me. I'm like sitting here.
While you were live.
Yeah, I'm like live, and all of a sudden the banner starts coming down. I'm like, whoa, what the hell is going on? You know, that, and I had my back of my chair break, and I fell backwards out of it. You know, we have all kinds of crazy calamity that happens on the show, but we had fun. You know,
it could be a lot worse, man. It could be. I mean, that whole banner could have fallen. You have like a whole meth lab back there. That'd be a problem.
oh, shit. Stop telling everybody about it, man. That's it.
It's
hey,
great.
Hey, go ahead and take them out.
Get the meth lab out of here.
No, but yeah, man, you're talking about cyborgs and shit, you know. So that this is one of the things I really want to get into too, and I hope that you do it with yours. Is look into like having your character 3D printed.
So where did you do? Where did you get that? I've been talking to different people, and they're like, "Oh, it's back order for like a year or something. You can't get stuff done."
Oh no, yeah. Oh, dude, don't go to like action figure companies. Like I looked into an action figure company, and the minimum order quantity was like 2,000 units.
Right.
And it ended up, so it was a minimum of $50,000 for print and die, and for 2,000 in units. And I'm like, 50 grand? Like I got $3,000 for my book on Kickstarter. Where the hell do you think I'm gonna come up with 50 grand at? So I reached out to my good buddy. I'll hook you up with him. It's Mark Tant with Tant 3D Prints. We took some of my art files and converted them into STL files, and this was the original print off of this piece right here. Awesome. This is an original print right there off of that. The only thing that did happen was the sword broke off, which is fine because I planned on drilling the hole out and making it to where you can put like an axe or the sword or like like a flail or a mace or something in his hand and have like different accessories. But I mean, it turned out pretty good for a test print.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, and then you could actually color yourself now. If you really get the urge to do so, you can color yourself.
Well, now I just want to buy a 3D printer. I just want to 3D print shit. I'm gonna have like a mountain of stuff here. You guys are gonna be on the people are gonna be on the show. Like, what's that noise in the background? Like, there's not gonna be a meth lab behind here. There's gonna be like 18 3D printers, just 3D printing shit. Like, what are you 3D printing today, Russell? Well, we got Yoda, Mewtwo, Pikachu. Oh, and then here's Link from from Zelda.
That will change. It's just 3D printing with Russ.
Yes. You never know what's gonna come off this assembly line. They're only $39.95. Whatever comes off next is yours. Just put your bids in now. $39.95 comes over. You get Kirby flying on a star.
You get whatever I print, man. You get whatever I print. Yeah.
Thundercat. Where the fuck did Thundercat come from? He was printing Zelda and then Kirby, and now we got a Thundercat. Oh well, that's
Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes.
Oh wait. Oh, it sucks to be this dude. You got a butt plug. Just
sorry, bro. Jack,
that's yours, fuckface. Talking about the freaking face hugger cats. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you embarrass me on my own?
I would love to talk to your buddy because I would love to get a Xyber Ronin rabbit done 3D. That'd be great, man. That's awesome.
No, I'll hook you up. I got his cards in here. I don't know why he sent me cards because I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna take pictures of it and send it to people. He 3D printed a cake topper for my son's 6th birthday. My son wanted Mewtwo, and I gotta make sure they're in here still. I saw one in Mewtwo, and we couldn't find something anywhere. Yeah, here it is, right here. I'll take a picture of this and send it to you.
Sweet.
I hooked one of my other friends up with him. He's working on making his own Dungeon Master game, and he was wanting to 3D print some of the characters, and so they've been hitting it off and printing out stuff. I'm like, he's like, keep them coming, bro. I'm like, oh no worries, man. He printed out some cool shit. You know, it's hard to find people that do that kind of stuff, and he's a pretty reasonable guy. He only
Very hard. Yeah, very
he
hard.
only charges you for the print time. You know, like something that takes like this character here. This took 18 hours to print. Like people think 3D printers are fast. They're really not. This was an
Yeah.
18-hour build, and it ran me about $40, which isn't bad. I mean, at
Really?
the end of the
It
day,
is?
you know,
It's awesome, man.
yeah, and it's a pretty big figure. I mean, hell, you can tell. I mean, look at my face. You know, it's not a small figure. It's like 9 inches tall.
Wow.
So I'll
They
send you
just
his
quoted me-
information.
One guy quoted me 400 for a 3-inch. Yeah. Yeah, for 3 inches. It was $400. I was gonna pay it too. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I guess
I don't care. Just give me my Xyber Ronin statue.
have something like that. All right, I guess, right?
He'll be like, hey guys, check out this statue that I got printed for $400, and I'll be like,
yeah, they can get yours now.
Daniel, what did you do, bro? What did you do? Like, remember when we were talking earlier that the character had DG on the foot pad, and I said Dollar General? Like, come on, man. I got cheap. I know people that do it for cheap and do a great job, bro. I got you.
Thank you, brother. That's your lifesaver. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll print up like an army of Xyber Ronins. That's great, dude. That's
an army. I think we'll see you in the next show. You'll be like, you'll have them in every finger. You'll be like, oh yeah,
everyone's
Xyber Ronins right now.
There's a birthday presents and Christmas presents and Hanukkah presents and you name it, they're getting it. So
pre-order it now and I'll have it to you just in time for Easter. I'll overnight it to you for only
maybe
$400.
Yeah, I was gonna have someone do a cover for me for Easter. It's a little late now, but maybe I can still get it done. Xyber Ronin throwing like eggs or something. I don't know, something crazy. Like
yeah, Xyber Ronin with the oh dude, no. Xyber Ronin with a fucking 40mm grenade launcher that's shooting eggshells.
Eggshells. Gotta get done this weekend. You got it. Okay, you
got it. Yeah, I want it too, man. Grenade launcher, that's all me. My favorite scene, even though the second Punisher, or actually technically it was the third Punisher, wasn't the greatest movie. When that guy was doing parkour and he was doing that backflip and the Punisher shot him in midair with the grenade launcher. The best scene in a movie ever. I rewound it and watched it over. Yes, folks, I rewound it. It was on VHS. But anyway, I rewound it and watched it so many times. Like there ended up being like a line in the film there because I watched it so many times. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, that dude just ate it, man. Ate it.
Did you remember the Dolph Lundgren Punisher?
Yes.
Remember that, like in the 90s? Remember when that first came out? Yeah, that was great, dude. I was like, Dolph Lundgren's a Punisher?
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, from Universal Soldier to the Punisher. I mean,
Punisher.
Who knew, right?
It's on YouTube. You go and watch it right now for free, I think. So.
Yep. Yeah, who knew something so small could be so expensive? That's what she said.
Right.
That's right. So I know I told you I'd keep this to a half an hour, and I broke my promise.
Oh, no, dude, no worries, man. It's been a lot of fun. I've had a blast, dude. Thank you so much. I've had a great time.
It's always fun coming on here, man. This is what I love to do. I love to get on here and chit-chat. You know, we get rolling. We have fun. We talk about cool shit and, you know, give people a chance to ask you some questions. Instead, we get this asshole telling me that I'm going to be, okay, so the assembly line is run by the cats or the kids. You can choose on which day. So instead of tiny hands, we got tiny paws. That's right. So we're gonna get the ASPCA called on us. Pete is gonna be outside. Ban Xyber Ronin. They use tiny paws. Like, wait a minute, folks. Have you ever seen a cat listen? All right. So like, who thinks in their right mind we've got an assembly line of cats that are actually making things? No. In fact, they're pushing shit off the assembly line.
That's all
you
they're
can
doing.
go over there on the other side and look at the huge pile of stuff. Every time something comes along, they're like,
"Yep." And you go, don't do it. What do you do? Don't do it. And they're like, no, I don't give a crap. I don't care.
Oh my God, I gotta. Oh, there was this video on TikTok. I'll tell this real quick, and then we'll sign off of here. But I seen this video the other day on TikTok, and I died laughing. So there's this cat, and the owner's sitting at the table reading a book, and there's like a stuffed animal sitting next to him, and the cat starts pushing this cup off the table, and the owner's like, "Oh no!" And the cat stops for a second and looks at him, and he's like, he takes the stuffed animal and he pretends to push something off the table with it, and then he looks at it and just beats the shit out of the stuffed animal, and the cat grabs the cup and moves it back on the other side.
Can you send that to me? Is that on TikTok?
I gotta go find it. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. He just takes the stuffed animal out of nowhere. He just pushes it off. He's like, "No, you don't do that." He just starts going to town, and the cat's like, "Oh shit!" And he puts his paw on the other side and pulls it back.
He's like, "I'm gonna get my ass beat."
He's like, "I'm out of here. That's not happening to me."
When you
All
get
right, well, I'm gonna give.
when you get a
What's that?
chance, when you get a moment, look up on YouTube. These cats are ruining my life. It's this guy who latexes his floor, right? Me and my girl we watch this every night, dude. We just piss ourselves. It's it's like he's holding, I guess, his phone up, you know, so you see just the phone, like the view of like his latex floor, and he goes, I guess sounds like he's European, maybe like Irish or Scottish or something. He's like, my floor's been latex, yeah, and he's like, he goes, and it's all latex. There's a tub, and then up there's like a little windowsill, and there's a cat in the windowsill where all this stuff's been latex. The cat's sitting up in the window, and he goes, "Look who's up there." He goes, "Hugo," and the cat goes, "Meow," and he goes, "What are you doing up there?" "Meow," and all of a sudden this fucking cat launches off the latex into the tub, into the wind. He's like, "Oh my god, these fucking cats are ruining my life." Oh, dude, it's hysterical the way he says it, and like it's so unexpected to hear like how he says it. He's so pissed. I never said the cats were helping yet. Dude, hysterical, by the way. You got to watch his Cats Are Ruining My Life. Funniest thing.
I'll definitely check it out. But I'm going to give you the full screen. I'm going to give you a chance to tell everybody who you are one more time, where they can find you. I'm going to go grab that link for Xyber Ronin and throw it into the comments there, and give your elevator pitch.
Thanks, man. So Daniel Garcia, Dang Comics. Check us out on Kickstarter. Xyber Ronin issue number 1 is out. There's tons of tiers. The book is almost done. It's actually black and white pages are finished. We have up to 6 to 7 pages already colored. We got some fantastic letterers, some fantastic colorers, some good colorists, I should say. The book is nothing like you guys have ever read. However, it does feel like it nostalgic in a lot of different ways. And as I mentioned to you before, Russ, if you're a fan of ninjas, martial arts, monsters and cybernetics, this is the book for you. So check it out. I'm always flexible when it comes to the tiers as well. So something that you want on there that you don't see as a tier and you want it, just message me privately and we'll work it out. We'll figure out how to get that item to you. So thanks for your time, man. I appreciate you having me on, and anything you need from me, brother. So
you're very welcome. And you said you pissed yourself. So Jack wants to know, when did you join the Piss Yourself Club?
Oh, did you say pitch myself? Oh, I pissed myself. Oh, right.
Yeah, you said you laughed so hard you just pissed yourself.
Yeah. Oh, you kidding?
He's actually taking a crack at me. That's a low blow, bro. That's a low blow.
Hey, man, I'm old. I can't hold that in anymore. Yeah, it's.
Oh man, dude, it's the worst when you get like literally every time I get a back injection, it's like
dude, it's awful.
Oh, every fucking time. Because like for literally, I got like the last one I got before I got these 3 in my neck the week before last. I had like 7 in my back, and like I could just, you wouldn't have to go, and all of a sudden it was just like, oh my god, I got like 3 seconds to make it to the bathroom, and it's like 20 minutes for me.
Yeah, man, you gotta, you know what? You just gotta laugh. You gotta laugh about it, dude. Yeah,
I'm not attacking you. We all know we're fucking That's right, buddy. So yeah, man, Jack, hit him up on Messenger. Let him know that you want that, and you guys can work something out and get that ash can. And again, like he said, folks, if you see tiers and you don't see something that you want in the tier that you're getting, grab the tier that you want. message Daniel and say, hey man, I got this
Absolutely.
tier, but I really want this too. He'll let you know. You can up your pledge and give that stuff. He'll make a note and he'll get it to you. So
Uh,
I'm gonna kick you back to the green room, brother.
yeah, man. I'm planning on getting this thing out sooner than what I'm anticipating. I'm hoping to have it in everyone's hands prior to what I'm promising. So we already got prints done. We got the books are ready to get printed up. So I'm hoping to have everything in everyone's hands prior to August, and then just keep rolling with more books after that. So thanks, man.
Awesome. Yeah, no, you're very welcome. I'm gonna kick you to the green room. Please
Yes, sir, brother.
hang out back there. I'll be back in a second. Don't leave on me. I'm gonna say my goodbyes and I'll be back in a second.
Okay, you got it, bro. Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight and listening to Daniel talk about his inspirations and how he got into comics and all that good stuff. Please go check out Xyber Ronin on Kickstarter. You all have the link right here on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. Go to that link right there. Go check it out. Back it. If you can't afford to back it, please throw $1 at it. If you throw $1 at it, anybody that follows you on Kickstarter will get an email stating that you just backed this fine project right here, and then they can go check it out for themselves. If you can't afford to do that, at least please share it out. Do an original post. Don't share someone else's post. Don't share Daniel's post. Make your own post because Facebook tends to bury stuff if you share somebody else's post. So tag them in it. Share it on your own page. Share what you find relevant to stuff that you like that your friends might like. Say, and tag them in it. And that sharing is caring. That's the only way we can help get these projects out there. As indie creators, we struggle to try to find a way to get people to get eyes on our projects. Some really cool stuff really slips through the cracks, and that's my job at Russ Explode Studios is to help these creators get their stuff seen and share it out there and show the love. As always, everyone, this is Russ Explode Studios with projects that will blow your mind. I will see you guys Saturday for a special show. This is going to be a Meet the Creator show. It's never been done before on here, but I feel like Cat Cat and Piggy Girl needs a proper send off into the ether. This is a big deal, folks. If you don't know what Cat Cat and Piggy Girl is, please tune in Saturday. Listen to the story. This is all going to charity. You guys will get your books that you pledge for. All the profits will send books to cancer centers and hospitals across the nation to help kids find peace, solace, and strength in a time of need. And they need our help more than ever. This is a big deal to me. So please tune in. Please share this show out. Please tell your friends about it. I want this to do double digits. I care about this more than I do my own projects because this is something that matters to me. Having a critical illness child, the benefits that he's received from stuff like this, the benefit we've received from being able to breathe after a 12-hour open heart surgery because my son's playing with a Spider-Man Hot Wheel that somebody donated to the hospital. I mean, a 99-cent toy, folks, made the difference. You can too through purchasing this comic. So, guys, I love you all. Thanks a lot for showing up. I'll see you guys Saturday. And once again, this is Russ Explode Studios with projects that will blow your mind. You guys have a great night and a great rest of your week.